Hello, my name is Amy. I'm half of the husband and wife team at Rabbit Games, and today I'd like to show you our new game that we've been working on called Keep Battles that we will be submitting to Apple shortly. We just released our current game, Slide Penguin Slide, so please check that out if you have the time. It's free, so that's always a good deal. But today we'll be showing you the current game we've been working on, which is sort of a turn-based strategy game that you can play with your friends online over time. So right now, as you can see, there's a cursor. In order to show you this in a good resolution, we're doing it on the computer. So pretty much that'll be the only change. Ordinarily, what you do is actually tap on everything. So I'm going to go ahead and start the game up. So here you can see there's 3 races. From the start, humans will be free, and orcs and elves will also be available for $2, and we'll be releasing additional races as DLC. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and launch this server. Alright, so here we are in the game right now. As you can see, we have a field on one side. Here's our castle, which we'll need to be defending. So we begin our turn by selecting one of these squares and then choosing a building to build. Each of these will produce different units, and those units will go down the field and fight the enemy's units. So right now, as you can see, all I can build with the amount of gold that I have is a barracks, but the nice thing about the barracks, and you can tap on this to see more information, is that it'll give me additional income. So basically, the more that I build, the more stuff I can build in turn. So I'm going to go ahead here and build a barracks. After this, my turn is over and I wait for my opponent. As you can see, the building has produced this little soldier guy here, who's going to be walking over. Now it's my turn again. As you can see, not enough money to build stuff, but next turn I'll be back in the game. So I'm going to go ahead and hit pass turn. Once again, we have another soldier, and we can see our current one is now meeting the enemy in battle. So now I go over. As you can see, I can build another barracks, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. It's always good to have a good defensive line going. And one of the nice things about this game is that pretty much over the day, perhaps you have a business meeting or something, and then you can take a break, build another building, and then you can keep continuing the battle throughout the day with your friends. So as you can see, I can't quite afford anything at the moment, so I'll pass the turn. But I think what I'm going to do is build up to an archer tower. So I'm going to pass again. As you can see, my income is building, and it's also a larger number now that I've built 2 buildings. So now I can build an archery range. I'm going to go ahead and put these behind my barracks because if the enemy comes in here, they're pretty much going to attack the first building in sight, and I'd like to protect this because this is more of an investment. Here we go. We have an archery range. There's our friendly archer moving into battle. As you can see, it seems that my opponent has built 3 of the soldiers, whereas I have 2 soldiers and 1 archer, so we'll see how that pans out. I could build a barracks, but at this point I kind of want to ramp up to the more exciting units. As you can see, there's a bear coliseum that I definitely have my eyes on, so I'm going to pass the turn again. Yeah, you can see that the soldiers are doing quite well against the archer. It's a weaker unit, it does more damage, but takes more damage as well. So here, I'm starting to get pushed back a bit to my base. So I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and deploy another archery range, even though I really would like to get to some of the stronger buildings. It's good to kind of have enough units to sort of push back, and the nice thing is that at least I have these 2 soldiers to hold back the enemy a bit while my archers can do damage. Once again, I don't feel like building more barracks, though some people do tend to just build a lot of barracks, and that can work out for them depending on the play. It all depends on what your opponent is doing as well. So you can see my archers are in the front, so they're going down, but I have 2 more soldiers up, 2 more archers, bam. And also you can see that he's built a cleric. One of the interesting things is that as you push down farther down the line, you can actually see more of what your opponent is building, to the point where when you reach their base, you can actually see what buildings they have up, which can be useful for strategic purposes. Now what his cleric is going to do is heal his units, so as you can see it's not as strong if it's just going against my units by itself. So right now I could build an archery range. It does have a nice income of 18, but I really would like to get to some of these higher buildings. Clerics can be quite strong when paired with other units, but on their own, they just get owned. But we see here that we have a pretty good setup going. So now I have the opportunity to build a cleric of my own. Though with 2 melee units and 2 ranged units, it might be more helpful to kind of keep this melee going. So what I might do to boost my melee powers is, as you can see, there's this show utility button. So I'm going to click on that. Here we have some other buildings that don't produce units but give my units effects. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and build a shrine, which will basically up the attack of my units for a bit. Thus, that way I don't have to build more melee units, but I can make the current ones that I have stronger. And also, the shrine has quite a good bit of income that it adds. So as you can see, some of my units are larger now, and that indicates that they've been buffed by the shrine. Now what I'm going to do is, since I can't afford any more of these shrines, and since I think I'm going to build more units next, I'm going to click on Show Military, and then I'll be back on this. But for now, I'm going to pass the turn. Let's see how my guys are doing. Even a buffed archer is going to do pretty decent against some of the enemies. Alright. Once again, going to pass the turn, but as you can see, I have a pretty good income amount. So though the PC version is running in this way, where we're just kind of playing right away against each other, one of the nice things about mobile play is that I can just do it over the course of the day and have battles with multiple different people as well. So as you can see, he's kind of getting back at me now. He has a good thing going. So I think what I'm going to do is, I think it would be good, especially since I have Frenzy up now, and I'm able to buff my units, it would be nice to have some sort of healing power for my units. That way, while they're stronger, they can live a bit longer. So as you can see, my cleric is now healing a bit. It looks like perhaps maybe more melee would have been better. As you can see, he has quite a bit of soldiers going now. So I'm definitely going to have to react to that. Sometimes it might even be good if you see yourself being pushed back to maybe build another barracks at some time, just to give yourself an additional push. So I don't want them getting too close to my base. Alright, so it looks like they're attacking my buildings now. So I'm not in the best position. Now one of the interesting things that you can do in this game is if you get pushed back to your base too much, you have this option here in the corner to activate a trap, which will basically destroy any enemy units in the region. Now I'm not quite sure if I want to use that yet, especially because it's a one-time only deal, though it is very nice because it'll prevent you from just getting completely toasted on one go. So I think what I'm going to do is, I really want some more tougher units to repel some of the ones that he's been pumping out. So I think I'm going to go ahead and build another barracks. So now I have kind of a larger line of defense, and with the frenzy buff, you can see they're much larger, and they're doing pretty well now. Perhaps not as well as I'd like, but I have cleared a bit of his units away. Though, see, he has more incoming. So what I'm going to do now is kind of an interesting strategy that doesn't always quite work, but we'll see. So what I'm going to let him do is build up his units to a point where they reach my base, and then I'm going to activate the trap, and then hopefully I'll have enough force to get back at him. So we'll see how this goes, and that way I can sort of still ramp up to stronger units. We'll see how well this works with humans. Usually it's a strategy I like with orcs because they ramp up very well, but we'll see how this goes. As you can see, I'm still slightly repelling them. And I'm even gaining some ground with the frenzy buff, but there comes his units again. I'm still kind of in a tight space. So what I might do, since it might be helpful to have kind of these more healy units, is I think I'm going to go ahead and build another cathedral. And that way I'll have more healing, especially since I've built those 4 nice guys in the front who are going to block them. And now you can see I'm making a bit more progress. And now also, since I'm making some more progress, I'm going to go ahead and pass the turn again, see if my good fortune continues, and then hopefully I can work up to the stronger units as well. Alright, we're making some progress. As you can see, my guys are nice and large from the buff. Definitely making progress, which is very nice. Now I could build another cathedral, but I think I really want to work up and see if I can get this Bear Coliseum, or at least the Wizard College. So let's go ahead and pass the turn. As you can see, I am making my way across the field. Though you can see he's built himself a wizard, which does AoE damage, or area of effect damage, so... Basically, it's going to shoot a ranged projectile that's going to hit a lot of my units at one time. As we can see, okay, so I have 485 gold. I think I can actually work my way up to the Bear Coliseum next. So I'm going to pass the turn. A lot of times when I'm kind of at this point where I have more of an advantage, I like to sort of spend time and work up to the larger units. And here we go. I'm actually attacking his base now, and I can also see the layout of his base, which is very nice. As you can see, he has a lot of barracks in front, sort of my similar strategy where if they're going to kill your buildings, you don't want them getting something like a Bear Coliseum first. And he has his cathedral kind of farther back, and then that's his Wizard College. One more turn, and then we're going to go Bear Coliseuming. But as you can see, he also has activated his trap, and that's going to repel my units. So he's sort of trying to give himself a bounce back. So as you can see, my units are still nice and buffed, and I'm still making pretty good progress here. Alright, now it's the time to build the Bear Coliseum. I'm going to go ahead and put that down. For the placement here, it would be nice to... Sometimes it's nice to place it towards the front because they'll reach the enemy sooner. especially with the Bear Coliseum, which is a more powerful unit. However, I think I really don't want him hitting it, so I'm going to put it kind of up here. And as you can hear, my birds are quite excited with the progress that I'm making. Oh, but he also has a Bear Coliseum, so let's see how this plays out. Though, mine is buffed. See how much larger mine is because of my tower? And it's down. But it did a good job. Here we go. So as you can see, because I've built all these buildings, I have a pretty good income going. I have plus 211, so I'll be almost making twice as much in the next turn. Now one thing that I might want to consider next is if you click on Show Utility, you can see here I can also build something called the Angelic Altar, which will definitely increase my chances, because basically when a unit dies, there will be a chance of it spawning an angel. So I think what I'm going to do is see if I can work my way up to that. But in any case, for now, I'm going to go ahead and pass the turn. Now see, this bear is also a bit scary because basically, as I said, the wizard sort of does this ranged area of effect damage, but the bear, since it has the giant weapon, it's basically going to be hitting a bunch of units at the same time. So it's sort of a tanky splash damage kind of unit. And see, now he's making more progress. So it looks like rather than working up to the angel like I'd like to do, I probably should get some more power here, so. I'm gonna go back to show military, and I think we could actually use a wizard of our own at the moment. Let's go ahead and build one of those. Also, as you can see at this point in the game, you'll notice that the initial turns lasted pretty quickly, but basically as the game goes on, each turn is going to last a bit longer, and the reason for that is not only because it makes the battles more interesting as you have more units, but also it's going to make it easier for people to finish the game as they ramp up to stronger units. It's kind of a nice way to make sure that games don't last quite forever. As you can see, I'm making progress again. I think once again I'll see if I can work up to the angels, so I will pass the turn. Though we are quite evenly matched. It's like the bears took each other out. But I'm still a bit in the lead. Alright, so we have 535 gold with 248 on the way. Once again going to pass the turn, then view the battle. Oh, it looks like he might actually get the advantage here. But next turn, I think I'll go ahead and get another bear out. Sometimes you just have to take care of these things with your bare hands. definitely helps me out to have 2 bears. Oh, and they just got buffed. So as you can see, the tower does quite a good bit of buffing there. And now I've reached his base once again. Do some damage to it. Not a ton. It's very nice to be in that position. So as you can see, I'm at 401. Once again, I'm making a good amount of income, so I'm going to pass the turn and focus on building some of these stronger units. You'll also hear the music in the background. That's music that I did. Kind of wanted a nice march theme going. But you can hear in one part that it launches into harps. And as you can see, I've destroyed one of his buildings over here. And the bears are making quick work of his buildings. So now, once again, we're at 700. It could be fun to ramp up to the angel, but I do want to keep the pressure on him. So I'm going to go back to military. Let's get another bear rolling out. Sometimes it's good to just make sure that you're kind of in the lead. But the angel can definitely turn the tide as well. As you'll notice, though, I'm definitely killing more of his units than he's killing of mine, so perhaps I don't need an angel at the moment. My units are making nice work of his base, and I have even more units on the way. Alright, right back to the castle. So again, I suppose I'll pass the turn. See what's going on here. And as you can see, I'm actually at his castle gates. Pretty much if that health bar goes down all the way for him, I win. And since I've destroyed his units and his buildings, doesn't look like things are going to go so well for him at this point. But he put up quite a good try. Alright, let's see. Can we end this with the longer turns? It looks like we got it. So now they go. And I have won. So thank you for watching a game of Keep Battles. Soon we're going to be submitting it, so please watch out for it as it launches onto the store. Thanks for watching.